Widely regarded as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters to ever compete in the sport, Anderson the Spider Silva is a knockout artist with incredible speed and lethal submission skills. Setting records and building a legacy, Silva burst into the octagon in 2006 and for over half a decade defeated every opponent that stood across from him.
What's up, fight fans and gamers? This is your boy History. I'm bringing you guys another video today. It's on Undisputed 3. Now, we're not talking about gameplay today. We're talking about UFC 162, which is going down this Saturday, 4th of July weekend. I don't know how many of you guys are excited, but I'm ecstatic about this fight, man. I cannot wait. And also, we got Jay-Z releasing his album this weekend, so we got a pretty nasty weekend, man. We got a pretty excited weekend. Getting into it, I brought you guys the video. I wanted to do an Anderson Silva highlight, but I didn't have enough time to do that, so I'm just recording some gameplay from the UFC Undisputed 3. I picked Jake Shields because Chris Weidman is not in the game, apparently, so kind of just a little similar to me. I don't like Jake Shields, so I figured, hey, why not kick his ass? So, but getting right into it, man, it's so much hype and there's so much stuff that's been talked about, so much stuff that's going on. I mean, a lot of Anderson Silva interviews and even just a lot of fighters, you know what I mean, other fighter interviews on how they feel about Anderson Silva losing to Chris Weidman. I mean, to me, I don't see how they can count the man out. I mean, I don't see how you can count Anderson Silva out. First of all, let me break it down. Everybody thought that Chael Sonnen was going to be the man to beat Anderson Silva first time around, which he damn near was. He damn near was the first man to beat Anderson Silva, but didn't succeed. Lost his head at the end, got submitted. Second time around, same thing. Chael Sonnen first round did something stupid, completely stupid, and tried to go for a spinning back fist on Anderson Silva, and he failed that one too. So I mean, to me, you can't count this man out. I know his wrestling technique and his wrestling defense is pretty weak, but at the same time, we've seen Anderson Silva come back from just pretty much getting demolished in a fight. We've seen Anderson Silva come back. But a lot of stuff that's been said, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about. They were kind of upset at the fact that Anderson Silva is fighting another wrestler. They know he's pretty weak with wrestler. Why do you keep setting him up with wrestlers? First and foremost, let me clear that real quick. This is mixed martial arts. This is the UFC. This is not boxing. We don't, you know what I mean? You're not going to be matched up with the person who you feel is, you know what I mean? I mean, even in boxing, you're not really matched up with somebody who's more your style. This is mixed martial arts. You're not going to be, you know, and they're not going to throw Anderson Silva in there with a striker every single time. He's a champion. He's got to be able to defend his title, man. I mean, if he wants to prove that he's the best, he's got to beat all types of styles, not just one, not just striking. He's got to beat all type of styles, man. So that's what that is. So don't be upset that he's fighting another wrestler. If you have faith in Anderson Silva, then he will overcome that and he will beat Chris Weidman this weekend. Another thing is everybody's skeptical about, you know, him possibly losing because Chris Weidman is a great wrestler. He's undefeated. And we all seen where Anderson Silva is weak, you know what I mean? And that's pretty much where it comes to taking him down on the ground. But Joe Rogan keeps saying, and if you hear that from, you know what I mean, in his interviews and stuff like that, Anderson Silva has great ground game. But we never see that, though. We never see any of Anderson Silva's fight, like, you know, ground game. So I'm hoping to see something change for Anderson Silva this time around. I am rooting for Anderson Silva. I'm not a huge Anderson Silva fan, but I am rooting for Anderson Silva this weekend. I hope that he can retain his title. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not a big Chris Weidman fan, to be honest with you. That's another one of my things I wanted to talk about was, I mean, how UFC picks their #1 contenders. I mean, I don't like the way they pick the #1 contender. I think they should do like a Bellator type style tournament where, you know what I mean, we can determine who's the #1 contender at the, you know, at the last fight, instead of just having dudes come from other organizations and they prove themselves fighting, you know, guys they know they can beat, and you know, all of a sudden get a number one contender shot. I'm not with all that. I'm not with all that. But my prediction for the fight, I believe that Anderson Silva can only win this fight in two ways. He can either win this fight in a KO or submission. If the fight goes to decision, I give it to Weidman all the way. Reason why? Because I don't think Weidman is. I don't. If Weidman is smart enough, to me, he's not gonna fight Anderson Silva standing up. He's gonna wanna. He's gonna want to take him to the ground. He's gonna want to, you know, expose Anderson Silva's weakness, and that's wrestling. So if Weidman's smart enough, he's gonna take Anderson Silva to the ground. If not, if he's gonna try to stand and bang with Anderson Silva just to give the UFC fans a, you know what I mean, something to watch, then that's freaking retarded. Don't do something stupid like that, because you're just gonna end up losing. Yeah, to me, if he's standing bang with Anderson Silva, he lost the fight. But if Anderson Silva can work on something to where, I mean, his camp has to have worked with this guy on this wrestling. You have to be able to work on, I mean, work on your game. If Chris Weidman gets Anderson Silva down and Anderson Silva's guard, then Chris Weidman is not really safe, because we already seen what Anderson can do in his guard. But passing guard, side control, I mean, anything like that, then Anderson Silva is going to be in trouble. But, I mean, really, can Anderson Silva even get past this guy just due to, I mean, what I've been hearing in, you know, interviews? He's talking about winning is not everything anymore. He doesn't think he can beat John Jones. To me, the man is already defeating himself before he even fights. Basically, he's making up an excuse of why he's gonna lose, or you know what I mean, just saying, well, winning's not everything, and then he ended up losing, so it's like, oh well, Anderson Silva, it seemed like he didn't care anyway. But I think Anderson Silva feels defeated already, and to me, that's not a true champion. That's actually a weak fighter. You know what I mean? But the man is like 40 something years old, 40 years old. I mean, really, how much does he have left in the tank? I mean, maybe he is ready to retire. Maybe, you know, he doesn't want to do the 10 fights that he has on his contract. But I think that Anderson Silva possibly is ready to retire. I don't think he's, you know, ready to keep going. I think he's ready to pass it to the younger guys. Um, and it wouldn't make any sense for him to keep going. He's made a lot of money. He's made a lot of money so far. So, but I mean, just, man, how he sounds is, you know, he sounds defeated already. He sounds like a defeated champ already. But to be honest, I would like to see Anderson Silva fight John Jones for the title before he retires. But I would want him to be a champion when he fights John Jones. I want him to be the middleweight champion when he fights John Jones. To me, it wouldn't be a super fight if he fights John Jones without the title. But at the same time, I know John Jones is going to beat Anderson Silva if they do meet, because, I mean, we saw how Anderson Silva struggled with Chael Sonnen, and it didn't get him anywhere. But we saw how John Jones just ripped through Chael Sonnen like it was nobody's business. So, I mean, I think Anderson Silva will take a fall to John Jones, but I'm hoping that, you know, we get a chance to see that, and he doesn't take a fall against Chris Weidman. I mean, I'm sure Chris Weidman, he's a cool fighter, man. He's a great fighter and everything like that. But I don't want him to be the man to beat Anderson Silva. I want John Jones to be the man to beat Anderson Silva. And, you know what I mean, go down as one of the greats. John Jones has so much to prove, you know what I mean, to the UFC, to his fans still. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that don't feel like John Jones is a true champion. But I think the guy is a great champion. I think Jones is a great champion. So, I mean, I want to see John Jones do some things. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully we get to see that super fight at some point. You know we're not going to see GSP fight. GSP is not going to move up to middleweight, and Anderson Silva is not going to move down to welterweight. GSP pretty much, to me, is comfortable where he's at. He's not going to move anywhere because, I mean, I think the man is scared. Don't get me wrong. I think the man is scared. I'm a real big fan of GSP, but I think the man is scared for what's out there for him. You know what I mean? He's scared to move up because there's other guys, you know what I mean? And, you know, this, to me, he can't walk around as a natural 165 or 170. I mean, maybe he could, but I mean, I'm about 175. So, maybe he can be a natural, but at the same time, he was saying things like, well, I don't want to move up to middleweight. And you know, the weight has to be natural. But to me, how much weight? I mean, like, how much weight do you feel like you need to gain to move up to middleweight naturally? I mean, to me, that's easy for you. You're a big guy. I mean, that should be easy for you. But I mean, who knows? I'm ready to see John Jones fight Anderson Silva, middleweight title versus light heavyweight title. To me, that would be a more exciting fight. This weekend, I mean, it's going to be spectacular, man. It's going to be a huge weekend, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what happens. My money's on Anderson Silva. I'm hoping that he succeeds, keeps his title. But I mean, he's got to want it, man. But at the same time, what if he's psyching everybody out? What if Anderson Silva is psyching everybody out right now, saying, you know what I mean, making himself look defeated, but really at the same time he's not? He said when he fought Chael Sonnen for the second time that he was going to do something spectacular, something that's going to go down in UFC history, but we never saw that because the fight ended so quick. So I want to know what Anderson Silva has up his sleeve. What can you do to defeat Chris Weidman in a highlight reel, like the most biggest highlight reel ever? But I mean, I guess we have to wait and see that. But like I said, it's going to be a huge weekend, man, and I cannot wait. My money's on Anderson Silva. If anybody feels any different about what I am saying, please leave a comment and we will argue about this. Please leave a comment and we'll argue about this all the way up until the fight, even during the fight. And you know what I mean? Let me know how you feel. But that's how I feel. I think Anderson Silva has a chance. He just has to go in there and be ready. He's not going to win the fight if if he feels defeated already. And to me, that's bullshit. Don't feel defeated, man. I mean, you're a champion. You've been a champion for so long. I mean, I would love to see the title start to change hands from now on again, but he's been a champion for so long. I mean, come on, Anderson. I mean, you have a big chance. All you got to do is keep the man standing. I mean, you should have been working on your ground game really since Chael Sonnen. So, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's just my prediction. Anderson Silva by submission or knockout. I can't really say which round, but submission or knockout in the later rounds. I want to say fourth or fifth round. Decision win will go to Chris Weidman all the way. He's gonna wrestle Anderson Silva if he does it smart. If he's smart, he will wrestle Anderson Silva. But if not, I'll give it to Anderson Silva. So, hey, like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. You guys don't forget to like the video. Please like the video. This is your boy History. This is my time. Enjoy this knockout real quick, man. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.
He missed that kick. Back to southpaw for Silva. Trying to fight. Oh, he blocked him. That's it. He's out. It is over. It's all over. Knockout victory. Wow. That's some power right there, Joe. What a performance. He defends the UFC middleweight title.
Here he steps into the middle of the highway and the semi runs him over.
How good is that?
Let's see it one more time. He just nails him with that.
That's a highlight reel knockout right there, Joe. Right on the button. And with our official decision, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 11 seconds of the third round, declaring the winner by knockout and still the UFC middleweight champion of the world, Anderson the Spider Silva!
Anderson Silva defends his UFC middleweight title.